Stephanie White is under fire like never before, and it's not just one moment of bad judgment. It's not just a single controversial decision. It's a pattern of contradictions so glaring, so obvious, so thoroughly documented that even mainstream media personalities who typically avoid direct criticism of coaching staff are now publicly calling it out. Patrick Bet-David, a major media voice and analyst, didn't waste any time. He pulled up the footage, he looked straight into the camera, and he articulated what millions of people watching were already thinking. The accusation is direct. Stephanie White saw something happen in real time. She knew what she saw, but instead of addressing it honestly in the moment, she decided to defend the aggressor. And when that defense generated immediate public backlash, she changed her story entirely. This is a story of how a coach's credibility collapses through documented contradiction.
In the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely.
I didn't see the play in real time. That statement, made days after the incident, stands in direct contradiction to what she said immediately after the game. It also stands in contradiction to what multiple camera angles clearly show: a coach watching the play happen from the sideline, her eyes locked on the action as it unfolds. And according to the rumor exploding right now, there's more. There's a secret recording. A recording that allegedly reveals what was really happening behind closed doors. A recording that shows Stephanie White's actual position on the incident and her treatment of the player who was victimized. This is the moment when coaching credibility doesn't just crack, it shatters completely. Stephanie White is the head coach of the Indiana Fever. She's been praised as an X's and O's coach, a player development specialist, and someone who understands how to build winning culture. She has the respect of much of the basketball establishment. She's been praised by analysts, she's generally received favorable media coverage. But this situation is testing that reputation in real time. A head coach has immense power over team dynamics. She controls playing time. She controls the narrative. She controls what gets said to the media and what stays internal. She controls how players are treated, prioritized, and publicly supported or abandoned. When a head coach makes decisions about which players to defend publicly and which players to sacrifice, she's not just making basketball decisions. She's making statements about organizational values. She's signaling which players matter and which players are expendable. That power comes with a responsibility. The responsibility to be truthful. The responsibility to be consistent. The responsibility to protect all your players, not just the ones you prefer or the ones who play a specific position. Stephanie White failed to meet that responsibility in this situation. And now her credibility as a leader, someone who claims to lead with integrity, is being directly challenged. The incident happened during a nationally televised game. Dijonai Carrington, playing defense, went for what looked like a block attempt on Sophie Cunningham. But instead of attempting to contest a shot or block the ball, Carrington's contact landed squarely across Cunningham's neck and face area. The force was significant. Cunningham dropped immediately. She needed to be checked on by medical staff. A flagrant foul penalty too. Immediate ejection. That's the referee's assessment, not a basketball play, but an excessive, unnecessary contact that endangered the opponent. Now here's the critical part. Stephanie White was watching this unfold. The sideline camera captured it. She's not distracted. She's not looking elsewhere. She's watching the play happen in real time. Her eyes are locked on it. This is crucial because what happens next doesn't make sense if she actually didn't see it. Right after the game, in the press conference, Stephanie White made a choice about how to address what had just happened. She chose to defend Dijonai Carrington.
I don't think that Dijonai intentionally came out to get her across the neck like she did, but it did happen, and I thought it was the right call. But, you know, one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul.
This is the statement that matters most. This is what Stephanie White said immediately after the game. While it was fresh, while there was no time to calculate optics or consult with the front office, she defended the player who just injured her own teammate on national television. I don't oppose the hard foul. That's a coach sending a message. I support aggressive play. I support my players playing with that kind of intensity. I don't think this was wrong. The problem is that this message was delivered publicly, on camera, where players and fans could see it. Where Sophie Cunningham, the victim of the excessive contact, could see the head coach publicly backing the player who just hurt her. The backlash came immediately.
I can't believe that Stephanie White kind of stood up for Carrington. You would never see Shell Reeve, Becky Hammond doing this. You may think something, but you sit in a press conference and say that in front of your team? You don't do that. That's how you lose the team.
Media figures, fans, and observers immediately recognized what had happened. A head coach had publicly chosen loyalty to an aggressive player over support for the player who was victimized. That's not just a basketball decision. That's a signal about organizational culture. That's a statement about whose back gets watched and whose doesn't. Days later, under pressure, under scrutiny, under the weight of public criticism, Stephanie White's story changed. She held another press conference, and this time, she said something completely different.
In the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely.
I didn't see the play in real time. Think about what that claim means. She's saying, I didn't witness the foul as it happened. I went to the press conference without seeing what occurred. Therefore, I couldn't have known whether it was intentional or excessive or dangerous when I made my initial comments. But that directly contradicts what the sideline camera shows. The cameras don't lie. The footage is there, multiple angles, clear evidence. Stephanie White was watching. So now you have three narratives. 1. What actually happened. She saw the play. She watched it live. The cameras prove it. 2. What she said immediately. She defended Carrington, didn't oppose the hard foul. 3. What she said later. She didn't see it in real time. This isn't a case of a coach making a bad judgment call. This is a case of a coach being caught in a lie. A coach adjusting her story when public pressure required it. A coach changing the narrative to make herself look better, rather than standing by what she initially said or telling the truth about what she witnessed. In the midst of all this contradiction, Stephanie White delivered an emotional speech about her values. She talked about loyalty. She talked about support. She talked about integrity.
I take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back. I ride with them 10 toes down all the time. All the time. They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. Because they are playing. The reality is, with me, I will always lead with love. I will always lead with grace. I will always lead with humility. And I will always lead with integrity.
I will always lead with integrity. This statement sits in the middle of documented contradictions. She's claiming integrity while simultaneously changing her story based on public pressure. She's claiming to ride with players 10 toes down while publicly defending the player who injured a teammate and defending that injury on national television. The statement is aspirational. It's beautiful rhetoric. It's also directly contradicted by her documented actions. This is the core issue. There's a massive gap between what Stephanie White says her values are and what her actual behavior demonstrates those values to be. When a leader claims to lead with integrity while simultaneously contradicting herself on national television, when a leader claims to support all her players while publicly choosing loyalty to an aggressor over support for a victim, the stated values become hollow. The players notice, the organization notices, the media notices, and the fans notice. This is how credibility gets destroyed, not in one dramatic moment, but through the accumulation of small contradictions between words and actions. What makes this situation even more damning is that the aggressive play didn't stop. Dijanai Carrington wasn't benched, she wasn't suspended, she wasn't sent a message that the organization takes excessive contact seriously. Instead, in the very next game, similar incidents occurred. 2 incidents, 2 hits to the head/face area, within days of the flagrant foul that got Carrington ejected. The pattern suggests that there are no real consequences for this type of play. The pattern suggests that when a coach publicly defends aggressive contact, the message gets through, this is acceptable. The pattern suggests organizational endorsement of a playing style that the league's rules explicitly prohibit. And the pattern suggests that Sophie Cunningham, the original victim, and other players being hit repeatedly are not a priority for Stephanie White's organizational leadership. This is what happens when a coach's stated values, I lead with integrity, I support my players, don't match her actual organizational priorities, defending aggressive players, allowing patterns of excessive contact to continue. Patrick Bet David took all of this, the contradictions, the sideline footage, the changed story, the defensive speech about integrity, and called it out publicly. He didn't soften it, he didn't hedge it. He identified exactly what was happening. A coach seeing a play, defending the aggressor, getting caught by public reaction, and then changing her story to save face. This is the role media accountability should play. When leaders make contradictory public statements. When their actions don't match their stated values, when the evidence is clear and documented, media figures have a responsibility to name that inconsistency. According to the rumor, there's now a secret recording that allegedly provides even more evidence of what was really happening behind closed doors. Whether that recording surfaces or not, the public record is already damaging enough. The cameras captured Stephanie White watching the foul. Her statements captured her defending the aggressor. Her changed story captured her responding to public pressure by adjusting the narrative. Her value speech captured her claiming integrity while simultaneously demonstrating a lack of it. Patrick Bet-David connected all of these dots, and in doing so, he articulated what organizational accountability looks like. The question now isn't whether Stephanie White saw the play. The cameras prove she did. The question isn't whether she defended the aggressor. Her own words prove she did. The question is, what does this say about her leadership? When a head coach's stated values don't match her documented actions, when her public statements contradict visual evidence, when she changes her story in response to criticism, the players learn what the organization actually values. They learn that aggressive play is implicitly endorsed as long as there is public pushback that requires damage control. They learn that loyalty to certain players supersedes fairness to all players. They learn that the head coach will publicly defend the players she chooses to defend, while sacrificing others when convenient. That's not leading with integrity. That's not riding with players 10 toes down. That's situational ethics dressed up in inspirational rhetoric. Sophie Cunningham, the player who was actually hurt, got to watch her head coach publicly defend the player who hurt her. Then she got to watch her head coach claim she hadn't even seen what happened. Then she got to hear her head coach give speeches about integrity and support while the organizational actions demonstrated the opposite. That's not organizational leadership. That's organizational dysfunction. And now, with Patrick Bet-David calling out the contradiction and a secret recording allegedly surfacing, the credibility collapse is complete. Stephanie White claimed to lead with integrity. The evidence suggests otherwise. And the media, the league, and the players all know it now. The only question remaining is whether the organization will acknowledge the problem, or whether it will continue pretending that contradictions don't matter and that inspirational speeches can substitute for actual integrity in action.